My name is Yelena Kingston, and I'm an ordinary 30-year-old housewife. Today, I'm going to talk about the unbelievable calamity that my husband and my sister-in-law conjured up. First, about how my husband and I met and got married.
How about lunch together? Not as part of work, but in private.
Trent and I were colleagues at our job, and he was my age. That's how he asked me out. He came off as a wonderful man to me, so I accepted joyfully. We were both 28 at the time, so perhaps a private time with the opposite sex at this stage meant something big. Originally, my colleague, I knew how he went about his job. He was trusted by not only his colleagues, but also by our contractors, and I thought I could respect him as a human being. As we went out more, I gradually became more infatuated with him. We steadily eased into a romantic relationship, and 2 years later, he proposed to me on my 30th birthday, and we decided to get married. It isn't much of a drama, but we got what we hoped for in the end. However, his family was anything but ordinary. This happened when we visited them to announce our engagement. This was also the first time I've ever been to the house of any boyfriend, so I was pretty nervous too. I was welcomed warmly by the folks who had become my in-laws, and I was relieved. However, there was a third person who also lived there. Trent's older sister, Annabella, who is 2 years older than us. In other words, my sister-in-law-to-be. Oh, are you Trent's fiancé? You seem simpler than I thought. Rude and arrogant from the head-go. Trent and his parents could only awkwardly try to reprove her. Well, there didn't seem too much hostility. Perhaps this was usual self. And as a token of welcome, Trent's parents produced a cake, but... Hey, I have a shooting tomorrow. Don't shove that high-calorie garbage in my face! She started to complain like this as I was feeling a bit lost about this. Trent helped me out.
Sorry, honey, my sister's a magazine model.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Since you're pretty plain, look at this and learn a bit from it, yeah? She handed me a magazine that depicted fashion for women around 30 years old. She's apparently under a sponsor, but she isn't famous enough to be on the cover, it would seem. The treatment of their models wasn't too great either, and I wondered how she'd boast about this. But this cake is for celebrating me and Trent getting married. Maybe she should just not eat it? That's what I was thinking, and just then, Trent and his parents took action that left me shell-shocked. To my surprise, the three of them started to grovel at her feet and put the cake away. In the end, we only had tea. I mean, it wasn't like I really wanted to eat cake, but I couldn't help but wonder, why was she held in highest priority, even under these circumstances? From that time already, I'd had some ill feelings about this. Anyway, the visit went well in any case, and the night passed into a day. I got these texts from my own brother, Tristan, 8 years older than me.
Hey, my darling baby sister! Seems like you're getting married too, huh?
Already are. I just entered the family register.
Huh? That was quick. Congrats!
Even though I brought him home just the other day. He's stupid. You weren't here then, of all times.
I tried to get the day off, but duty called.
Couldn't be helped, I guess.
But damn, I'm so glad. It's awesome to know that someone can love a klutz like you. I'm relieved.
Yeah. I know you're jealous of your younger sister, who won the race.
Oh, you've done it now. Yeah, it's fine. Are you free this weekend?
Yeah?
Mom and Dad want you to come on over. Apparently, it's important.
Wonder what it could be. I got you. For my brother to call me back home, that was a first, for real. I was right in the middle of my paid vacation, but it would be harder for Trent to get a day off. I thought. I told him everything, and he warmly sent me off, and Tristan welcomed me back.
Ah, there you are. Quickly, cover your eyes, and come into the living room.
Another strange request. I closed my eyes as he said, and under his direction, I went into the living room.
All right, you can open them.
Huh? What's this? When I opened my eyes, they beheld a magnificent white dress. Yep, it was a wedding dress, and Mom and Dad, who were waiting, said this to me. I heard you were going to rent a dress for your wedding, but this is a monumentous occasion, honey.
Yeah, it's our wedding present to you, dear. Take it.
They actually bought me a dress as a present. Such a piece of beauty that even the eyes of an inexperienced can understand. Tears overflowed at how sweet my parents were to have done this, to have prepared a beautiful dress for me.
Probably a bit too much for someone like you. But you know what they say, fine feathers make fine birds.
My brother was teasing me mercilessly, but that dear Tristan, he gave us so much to use on your dress, honey. His whole bonus, in fact.
Mom! I told you not to tell her that.
Turns out my brother was also overjoyed at me getting married. Of course, I told my husband and my new family all about it, and everyone praised the beauty of the dress.
How are the wedding preparations coming?
I'm exhausted. This is much harder than anything I've ever heard.
Sorry to leave it all to you. I'll help you when I get home from work.
Please do. There's so much to do, it's actually making me gag.
Oh yeah, did Annabelle tell you yet?
Tell me what?
She's also getting married.
Wait, really? I didn't even know she was in a relationship.
I was surprised too. I knew she'd found a boyfriend though. They've been going out for probably 6 months or so.
Rushed marriage, huh? So entertainment world.
In any case, should you meet, tell her our congratulations.
Of course. These news of his sister's quick entry into another family was the talk of the day. Really brave of her to nosedive into matrimony after only 6 months. I learned about her partner later on. He was the CEO of a venturing company in the realm of IT technology, which meant he was considerably rich. I was impressed that he could meet someone of this status just by modeling. After I heard the news, Annabelle stopped by our place, but really, he said he wanted to get married quickly, so I just gave him the thumbs up. Oh, and by the way, we're planning on going to Dubai for our honeymoon. His company's doing well, so I think we're gonna get rich eventually. I am partly disconcerted that I had to listen to her bragging on and on, but at least it seemed like she would be happy. So I was honestly really happy for her, at least just this once. But a few months after she first got engaged, we were waiting for our own wedding that would take place in a month's time. After I came home from some errands, out of nowhere I wanted to take a look at my dress, but when I peeked in the closet... What? There's no way! Where did my dress go? To my great shock, my wedding dress, which should have been there, was gone. In a panicked frenzy, I looked frantically around the house, but the search was fruitless. I remember that my husband was home a few minutes before I came home, so I called him, hoping he'd know something. But, hey, my wedding gown is gone. Do you know where it is?
Ah, yeah, I gave it to Sis.
Gave it? Why?
Yeah, about that.
My husband then said the most unbelievable thing to me. Basically, her fiancé, out of the blue, said he wanted to have a ceremony on his mother's birthday. In itself, that's a wonderful thing to do. But that very day was the exact same day as mine. Normally, the deed would have been done next year, but Annabelle made it brutally clear that she wanted to get married within the year. She asked my husband to give the whole ceremony to her. In other words, prepping the whole ceremony from scratch won't meet the deadline by a long shot. So having a completely planned wedding for someone else by hers instead of was the best thing to do. Such a crazy proposal would never have even been considered, let alone accepted. But my husband literally gave her the thumbs up without giving the whole thing some thought. And on top of that, he even gave her my wedding gown. This is something I now realize, but through my interactions with the Trent family, but he was really attached to Annabelle, and her parents had spoiled her throughout her life. Having been raised by such a family, she'd grown up to be an all-powerful dictator. This whole situation is the culmination of this reality, it seemed. I immediately contacted Annabelle. Sister, please give me back my wedding dress. So you heard from Trent, but no, I'm not giving it back. That is my dress. I didn't steal it without permission. I asked your husband. I'm its real owner. My husband has no control over my dress. Besides, you're completely insane. Claimed my wedding ceremony as your own? That's just not natural. There's no way I'm gonna accept this. OMG, you're annoying. Too late. Everything's been arranged. Making a fuss about it now won't change anything. Then you will at least give me my gown back? Your husband has money. Why don't you ask him to buy you one? I will make the big day if I do everything from scratch. I couldn't find anything better than your dress among the things that have been made already. You're such a whore. You won't get away with this. Now, haven't you realized I was always going to be the more beautiful bride? As my in-law, just celebrate my wedding like a good girl, alright? No sign of repent at all. She's thinking exactly like Her Majesty the Queen, and of course when my husband came home, a fight ensued. Prioritizing your sister over your own bride. You're so full of shit.
What are you talking about? You can't blame her. It's a favor that sis asked me to do for her.
Sis. Oh, you're so disgusting. If you love your sister that much, why don't you marry her instead? I can't take it anymore. I was completely fed up, and without any delay, I decided to file for divorce. I quickly packed my stuff together, rushed out of the house, and made for my family's home. When I told my parents about what happened, they were furious, of course, but Tristan, my brother, became a monster.
Don't worry, I'll make them pay. So well. Leave it to me.
His voice was quiet, but I could tell he was erupting inside. He's usually a rather foolish person, but whenever someone close, like his friends or family, was hurt, he was always the first to help them out. When I would be bullied by my classmates when I was a child, come home crying, he would teach them a good lesson. Or whenever I was stressed about work, he was always there for me to talk to. I yelled at Trent for being inseparable from his sister, but I may pretty much be attached to my brother too. What Tristan suggested as a plan for revenge. 1 month later, the big day, when Annabelle would get married, finally arrived. Normally I would have been the one to get married here today. These thoughts quickly created a whirlpool of dark emotions. It's fine. I've given up becoming a bride, that's why. And then,
You may now kiss the bride.
right when the climax was about to occur,
Excuse me, you are Annabelle Kingston, I presume. We have permission to arrest you, and you'll be coming with us.
Tristan, along with other police officers, slammed the door open, and as they made it to the front, they said this. To tell the truth, my brother is a full-fledged detective. His job was to bring in burglars and other criminals. All I did was file a report for the theft of my beautiful dress. This is exactly within Tristan's domain. No need to pull strings or bribe anyone. He was going to get her arrested in any case. Let's just say the fact that the day and time of her arrest was on the day of her wedding. Right when the timing was perfect, it's just a coincidence. Present were my old in-laws, along with my ex-husband, the groom's parents, and others. Now at the center of everyone's curiosity, Annabelle started to tremble. Hang on a sec. This is something that my sister-in-law gave me.
This is an accusation made by the sister-in-law in question. The crime of theft is valid even amongst families. That is something I gave her! It's an item of shared property between the wife and the husband. It shouldn't be a problem. This item is a present for Yelena from her family, including myself. This is not eligible as shared property. Additionally, you are being charged as an accessory to her crime, so you'll be coming with us too. What the hell does all this mean? Annabelle, explain all this!
It's not my fault. I just wanted to wear this dress is all.
I don't think I can trust anything you say in this moment, so I'm going to wait until the police are finished investigating this.
Hey, wait! Help me! But no one did step in to help them, and left without any choice. Tristan took them away. The groom and everyone who'd been left behind were standing in the aftermath of hell freezing over. Of course, I then started to explain everything that had led up to this moment in detail. My old in-laws, who had always been really soft on Annabelle, became the target for criticism and left the scene, so they were running away. Later on, both of them were tried and were sentenced guilty with parole. We never forgot about the matter, and we took them to court. They were additionally given orders to compensate amounts equivalent to the dress, plus extra damages. On top of this, Annabelle suffered more debt because of her CEO fiancé, who demanded compensation. By the way, the money my ex had used to secure the wedding hall was supplied by the CEO, and now he demanded that back. In short, now the two siblings have massive debt on their shoulders. Oh, I also demanded compensation when I filed for divorce too, of course, and Trent had already paid that amount at once. The plan for vengeance that Tristan had created was simmering for about a month, so yeah. For the 2 years we were together until we got married, we saved up for our honeymoon, and he consented to the divorce under the condition that I get all the money. The amount easily surpassed $20,000. And also, we were renting the house we were living in, so all the furniture I left with Trent, mainly because I didn't want to remember a single thing about my ex. And that, with the compensation, I could easily start my new life. In the end, Trent was left with zero savings and a whole lot of debt to settle. After the divorce, I had already filed for retirement from my job, but an old colleague of mine told me that after the whole legal allegations, Trent was later sacked. There aren't many places that hire folks with a crime record, and now Trent's working multiple physical jobs trying to pay back the debt he owes. According to Tristan.
Even after discussing the amount with the help of a lawyer, the total will still be quite something. None of the cases here are eligible for a reduction in compensation.
I was relieved. Everything that had worked for us, Trent had destroyed, so unless he suffered with debt until the day he dies, I won't be satisfied. The same goes for Annabelle and her parents. By the way, Tristan assured to me that he was patrolling neighborhood to make sure Trent, Annabelle, or their parents don't do something to me out of vengeful spite. As a result, he knows a lot about what's going on with them. In a nutshell, the whole family had plunged into the fields of punishment, it seems. The incident spread like wildfire across the neighborhood. They sold their house and the land on which it was built, and now they live in a small old apartment with 3 of them working their butts off. But Annabelle, spoiled, rotten, and still raving dictator. There's no conceivable way she thought she could make some by exploiting her looks in clubs, and one night went out onto the bustling streets of the city. But
Who the hell would hire a cougar in her 30s?
Tristan, on patrol, witnessed firsthand how she was brutally sent away. My old in-laws were both rather old. They couldn't bring in consistent income. They couldn't talk to a lawyer. My brother got worried. They succumbed to suicide. Reluctantly introduced a lawyer's lounge. They're now getting advice about personal bankruptcy and managing debts. What an officer. You're too nice.
I have to be sympathetic towards citizens in need of help. Chasing them down like that is nothing good for them or for us. They still have to pay back the damages, too.
Honestly, his words were inspiring. Even they suddenly disappeared, it would have been for nothing. From the start, when I visited Trent's family, I knew that his sister was an uncontrollable brat. But she is the sister of the man I loved, so I thought I just had to get used to it. But that was a sorry mistake. Later on, if I do meet up with someone I hope to marry, I'll open up about this incident and make sure to carefully check their family before I firmly decide if I want to proceed or not. About the dress. Once Annabelle had worn it, I never really had any yearning nor the intention of wearing any more, and I decided to donate it to a fashion school. The material was flawless, so they said it would be a great addition to their curriculum, and they were pleased. 3 years later, after I turned 33, Tristan left me a shocking message.
Hey, little sister!
What's up?
I'ma be frank. I'm seeing someone my superior set me up with.
Say what? Bro, you know you're 41, right? I really thought you weren't getting married.
I was completely set on my job, but also I was worried about my divorced sister.
Don't you worry about me. So what's she like?
She's 5 years younger than me, so she's 36. She came off as an innocent maiden with a healing character. Not gonna lie, this was the first time I talked to a girl like that, since my ex and I split up.
So you know what you should do, right?
I'm ashamed.
Oh, it's alright. Looks like I can finally pay you back for what you did to me then. I'll do my darndest to make my master big brother happy.
I knew I could trust you. Thanks, sis.
I plan to leave my own marriage for the future. So now for that my brother of mine who helped me so much, I'll make sure to be the best Cupid I can to make them the happiest in the world. My name is Natalia Mallard. I'm 17 and I go to high school. I'm going to talk about an incident that happened to my first boyfriend. I'll talk about myself a bit first, but truth be told, there isn't much to tell. I can do decent in studying, and I'm not good at sports. I'm not part of any clubs either. I am a bit interested in fashion, but I'm not very attractive by any means. I have friends, not too few, not too many, and the group isn't too charismatic, nor is it too dull. I'm not subject to any bullying, and my school life is great. Average is literally the perfect word that describes me. My only unique trait is that my bust size is G. My friends are quite jealous of that. I won't lie, but I've gained nothing good from it. Boys stare at me, and I was publicly groped multiple times on the train. It's hard to find clothes that fit me, and finding the right bras only takes time and effort. There aren't many that are cute in my design with my size, you see. The reason why I don't like sports is because my chest bounces whenever I do exercise, and it's a pain in the neck. My daily prayer is to somehow shrink them if that's possible. But when I do say that, my friends get irritated thinking I'm looking down on small boobs. From my perspective, being told that having a bigger bust size is a good thing makes me irritated. So yeah, I'm idolizing breasts that are just the right size. Oh, forgive me, I got ahead of myself. Of course, since I am of age, I'm interested in love. The problem being, I've never had a boyfriend until I turned 17. Perhaps my chest gave a sort of an edgy vibe to boys? I don't know. but one day...
Do you have a minute?
Yeah, I do. After school, as I was about to head home alone, my classmate Mitch Fleming called for me. He brought me to a place where no one was around and said,
If you're okay with it, I'd like us to become a couple.
A boy confessed to me. This was unexpected of him since we only spoke a couple times because we were in the same school committee. Even more surprising, he's the biggest tennis star of our school. His skills were expected to take to the national championships, people said. As side dishes, he was handsome in looks and did really well in his studies. No one would be surprised if he went on into the world of entertainment. Of course, the competition for his affection among the girls was floundering. Such a guy, for some incomparable reason, confessed his feelings to me. Someone who isn't really that attractive. If you told me to remain calm with all this background info in mind, you're crazy. I can't begin to imagine how he and I would become romantically involved with each other. He was dimensions out of my league after all, but yes, gladly. The superstar whom all the girls wanted confessed his feelings. No girl would ever refuse him with that look in his eyes. I couldn't.
Thank you for today. I'm so happy.
I was so surprised, but are you sure you want to be with me?
Of course. To tell you the truth, I've been infatuated for a while now. When we were doing committee work together, you came off as a sweet girl with a big heart.
Thanks, I'm thrilled.
Also, I have a favor to ask you. Now that we're a couple, would you mind keeping this reality a secret for a bit?
I don't mind. But why?
In middle school, the girl I was with seems to have suffered harassment from other girls.
Girls would get jealous if someone started dating you, Mitch, for real.
I might be a bit paranoid, but I don't want anything like that to happen to you, Natalia.
Okay, I understand. I think that's best too.
Maybe keep it a secret from anyone close to you, please?
If you remember his popularity, this is an understandable reason. The fact he was very concerned over something as small as this made my heart dance. And so this was my first ever boyfriend. Part of me is bashful, and I'm saying that everything went as I desired. With this reason in mind, our dates were usually at his home. His parents were often away, and it was common for us to be alone together. The things we could do in the house are limited. So naturally, we started getting physical pretty quickly. A month had barely passed, and we already hit the home run.
Natalia, thank you. Thank you for giving me your first time.
I'm also so happy that you were my first, Mitch. People say the first time hurts, but exactly like a popular guy would do, he was very gentle with me, and it was amazing. I thought it wasn't good to get physical this early in the relationship, but being with him just felt so nice. I was over the moon at first, and was for a while, but eventually the simple fact that I, together with this very popular boyfriend of mine, started to feel strange. For one thing, whenever we would meet, it would either be at his house or at a love hotel. It was pretty much like kind of a relationship where once you get physical, everything becomes tasteless. After we would do our business, he would say,
I'm sorry, but my parents will be home soon. So could you get ready to leave quickly? I'm sorry. Today I gotta practice at my club today. So let's call it a day here.
He would say some excuse and make me leave. Our average date time would be between 2 to 3 hours, maybe? Even I started to doubt if this was a real relationship. My doubts slowly accumulated until one day, my friend Thea told me something very shocking. Hey, listen, I have exciting news. News? Let me hear. Do you know a Mr. Fleming? Of course, he is famous after all. Yep, and he has a girlfriend who's in another school, it seems. Another school? Not ours? Yeah, an 11th grader at Artite Fishel High School. I think her name is Brooklyn. Is that true? Where did you hear that? A friend of mine goes to that other school. I haven't seen them, but apparently there's pictures of the two of them together on social media. Is that so? Oh, is this a shock to you? No way. I know I don't have a shot with someone like that. I guess that's true. The story about his having another girlfriend was true. After checking social media, sure enough, on the account of this girl, Brooklyn, were photos of them being all lovey-dovey. In a nutshell, he was cheating. Plain and in simple cheating. Maybe I should add in the truth that she is his true girlfriend, and that I was his partner in crime as a girlfriend or as a FWB. Now I understood why he was treating me as he did. I guess his objective was my bloated chest and my body. I thought I could never make a proper first boyfriend. I was so shocked I couldn't even cry. I became so blue and insecure I couldn't ask him for details. The next day I went to school as usual. My footsteps were heavy, and I was trudging toward the school gate. "Hey, you're Natalia, aren't you?" A stranger called to me. Another girl in a high school. You are? Upon further inspection, I found that she wasn't a stranger. Lo and behold, the great Brooklyn, Mitch True's girlfriend, stood before me. She told me she wanted to talk, and I was led to a nearby park. As expected, complete chaos and catastrophe. I thought she was gonna say nasty stuff like, "I can't believe a fat pig like you is dating Mitch," or "break up with him now," and I broke out in a cold sweat. Sure enough. "Are you dating Mitch currently?" I had a hunch it was going to be about Mitch, and I was right. It seems she stumbled upon my messages to him by accident. She then found out who I was by digging around social media and lay in wait for me. What a terrible thing to do! Stealing someone else's boyfriend! Break up with him right now! I had no intention to get fired up, and I quietly answered, "No need to worry, I think he was just using me for sex. Unlike you, I've never been on a normal date with him, so, I was so ashamed my feelings got the better of me. Brooklyn's expression changed drastically upon seeing me like this. "What? Are you okay? Calm down, honey. Want a tissue?" She started to console me. At her core, she must have been a wonderful person. I went on telling her about myself, everything about me going to his house or to love hotels with him, everything about how a friend of mine told me about her. And then she said, "That freaking bastard! I'm embarrassed to have ever gone out with him." "Miss Brooklyn, I'm sorry for yelling at you. It's all about that stupid head's fault. Pardon me for asking, you being his friend with benefits from the start, but he did ask you to be his girlfriend, right?" "Yes, this is the messages we sent to each other right after he confessed." Then Brooklyn turned as crimson as a ripe tomato and yelled at the top of her lungs. "Unbelievable! Manipulating a pure, wholesome girl like you! Does this mean he was trying to cover up his cheating on purpose? Leave this as secret, meaning shut up because I want you only for sex? That's what this is?" I should have thought it was strange as soon as I read it too. "Excuse my crassness, but you don't have much experience, do you?" "He was my first ever, or rather, I was under that impression." "No freaking way! This is getting more and more ridiculous." My sadness overflowed, but Brooklyn quickly wrapped me in a tight hug. "Cry as much as you want, honey. From this day onward, we are both done with that stupid prick." That's how we declared our relationships with Mitch done, and a strange friendship blossomed between us. And then, hey, how about we give him a taste of his own medicine? If he still went on as this prince of perfection, there'll be more girls to fall for his bullshit, right? I agree. Let's finish him off. Well done and served. Before we knew it, the plan to destroy Mitch Fleming started to brew in both of our minds. They're doing it now as we speak. I see. Then how about asking him if you can join in the fun? I just sent him the message. Think this will work? I think so. You're really cute, Brooklyn. So he would want to show you off for certain. He replied, "Sure, come on over." You did it! What should I do once I get there? Like we planned, whenever things kick up a notch, start taking a video. As though you're gonna take a photo in the heat of this moment. Won't he get suspicious? I don't think he will. It seems like it's getting pretty good in any case. True, and when the deed's done, I just hand you the footage. Yes, and I'll make sure to make it spread like wildfire. 1 week after this interaction. No way! That's Mr. Fleming?
No way! That's Mr. Fleming? What's gonna happen with his career in sports?
Seems like they were talking about that in the teacher's lounge. And now, that Fleming. The school was bustling with rumors about him. It was easy for him to be the center of attention, but this time, It wasn't something good. Currently, he was placed in the midst of a bed of thorns, and he looks like he's about to collapse under the stress. He is deathly pale, and he had the atmosphere of a defendant waiting his sentence in court. And then...
Fleming, we need to talk.
The dreadful moment of truth arrived. The whole situation dates back to a week ago. What Brooklyn and I were messaging about was a drinking party at his house, and he would periodically invite his old friends from middle school and get high and drunk. Mitch slipped his tongue and told me about this. At the time, I only merely thought he had just had a dark side. But working with Brooklyn, we had the idea that we could use this to our advantage. She did her part very well, and she attended this party. Then she took videos of the party as though she was having fun like them. Of course, Brooklyn herself never touched any alcohol, and she did her best in hiding her face and voice in the videos. All that was left to do was to post these videos online on an anonymous account. I would love them to show these videos to my friends as follows. I found this video by accident, but isn't it wild?
We be getting hype as frick! Oh shit, I'm freaking drunk. Yeah.
Hey, is that Mr. Fleming? I made it seem like I found the video by pure chance and showed it to them. No one knew we were together once upon a time, and no one was suspicious of me finding this video. As a result, the video went viral around school. The teachers eventually found out and officially punished Mitch accordingly. If it was only they found out that he'd been drinking, they might have settled for a mild punishment for the guy who's the public face of the school. But this is a viral around the school, and even spread to other schools. Furthermore, the video would wound up before countless parents' eyes, and the criticism was already rolling in. Something this public can't be penalized mildly. In the end, he was sentenced to expulsion. Fair punishment, if you ask me. And the other students who were present were also suspended or expelled. The whole party got pooped on really definitely. Of course, Mitch was severely lectured by his parents and is now prohibited from going outdoors for the time being. He was ripped off his cell phone, and after everything was arranged, he was sent to a fully accommodated school in the countryside, which also had a youth rehabilitation facilities along with regular studies. How in the world do I know all this? The reason is because Brooklyn was so kind as to visit his home.
That video? It was you? Why did you do something like that? You're my girlfriend, aren't you, Brooklyn? So why?
Why you ask? Obviously, because we wanted vengeance on your lying, cheating ass.
Say what? What do you mean, we?
Dear Natalia, you're not worthy of being a human if you've made such a pure, sweet girl into your sex slave.
Why are you mentioning her now, of all times?
Things happened, and I got the feeling that you were cheating on me with Natalia. I thought I'd wait for her and talk to her directly.
No way.
And then, holy moly guacamole, the onslaught of Mitch is a bitch episodes. Give me 100 years and the love I've once had for you will stay dead as hell. You deliberately manipulated her, an innocent angel, and lied to her about being your girlfriend. How stupid you seem when you found out the truth. Brooklyn really let him have it with her words, and I felt a huge weight lift off to my shoulders. Just so you know, she was secretly on a phone call with me while she was yelling at Mitch, and I witnessed everything in real time. Brooklyn later said, if he found out you were the one who uploaded the videos, I don't know what he'd do to you. Plus, I'm his official girlfriend, so I'll give him the final blow, alright? Such a beautiful soul. Actually like an older sister to me, and it made me wonder how Mitch could be unfaithful to someone this amazing.
But still, don't you think this fate is a bit too harsh? I was expelled from school, and now I'm gonna go to a broke-ass desert of a school in the mountains!
My, what wonderful parents you have, allowing their idiot son the chance to rehabilitate. You should rest and repent there.
The hell is wrong with you? Underage drinkers are everywhere, you know? Why me of all people?
With your conceited character, you probably would have gotten into more serious trouble.
I was doing so well in everything, in school, in tennis, and I was good to my parents. Damn it. God damn it!
Then I'll give you some good news. One of those who attended, he's gonna get arrested.
What?
They found cocaine in his bloodstream. They made all of you take urine tests, right?
Yeah! It can't be. No way!
So apparently there was some ruckus about a sports team in another school using cocaine. and they investigate to see that it has spread to you. Think about what could have happened if your friend gave you the drug in drunken bliss. What if he forced you to take it? I got chills when I thought about the consequences. I tried to stop you from doing these parties multiple times, remember? You'd be suspended or kicked out if they found out, since you're underage. But no, you always said that no one would find out, that the teachers expect greatness from me and that you have many friends and all that bullshit. I was honestly hesitating on whether I should be with you anymore. I thought you'd destroy your own life one day. The shocking truth revealed by Brooklyn left me completely speechless. Never would I have guessed that a student in this neighborhood would get his hands so dirty, that drugs were circulating around these parts. If Mitch had been using cocaine, then those corrupted tentacles could reach out to me and to Brooklyn. Hearing this horrifying story, my deepest respect goes out to her for standing up to Mitch alone. I can't forgive you. You betrayed and hurt both me and dear Natalia. And I hope you burn in hell. Start again, slowly, in a new place, alright? Get your happiness somewhere far away, and I bid you good luck. And with that, their meeting was over. I met her at the same park where we first met, and we hugged each other tight. She was quietly crying while we were. You're so amazing, Miss Brooklyn. I could never have done that. I could only do it because I knew you were also listening secretly. I just hope Mitch gets back on his feet. True, I don't want to see him again, but we did give him that medicine he deserved. Now I'm just gonna move on with my life. I have an idea. How about we celebrate our victory at a restaurant? Great idea! Then I'll get the deluxe strawberry parfait. And I will get the deluxe banana parfait. And by the way, enough with the polite language in the Miss Brooklyn. We're the same age, and we're best pals now, right? Yeah. Mitch lied to me, and my heart was quite broken. But in the process, I met someone that would become my lifelong friend. We hung out often even after we graduated high school. Brooklyn was later in a sweet relationship with another guy, which bearded precious fruit as they tied the knot in the end. I have to give a speech at her wedding, and I'm so nervous I could piss my outfit right now. I think I'm about to get married, huh? Goes without saying that guys in this world can't let a wonderful girl like you free and unloved, honey. The hell? Your fashion sense makes mine look like dog water. Enough of the teasing, jeez. Sorry. I want to hurry up and listen to your lovey-dovey stories too, Natalia. I'm having at my job right now, so you'll have to wait a bit. My husband's attendants, many of them are single men, so be sure to pick the fruit when they're ripe, okay? I'll think about it. Brooklyn. Bright, kind Brooklyn. I love her so much I can't begin to imagine my own marriage, but I truly hope that my friendship with her lasts until the end of the universe.
My name is Silas Kane. I'm 28 years old and I work at a large company known as Emporia International. I think my wages are pretty good by the standards of my generation. I'm competent enough to get promoted every once in a while, and my superiors expect big things from me. In other words, a prime candidate. Jealous, you say? This is my life now, but I was raised in an environment on the opposite end of the spectrum. The apartment where I was raised was old. My father passed away quickly, and my mother did her best raising me. She was far from perfect, and she was subject to lots of physical stress, day and night. I wanted to help her out, so as I studied, I also worked part-time, increasing the family budget as much as I could. So I couldn't join any clubs, and I think I didn't have friends either.
Silas, honey, you can cut down on the part-time work, you know. Your high school life is wasting away on studying and on working. Are there any clubs you want to join?
Oh, hush, Mom. What I'm doing is learning about society, too. I don't have anything I want to do in any case.
But honey...
Same goes for you, Mom. You aren't as young as you were once. You can't push yourself anymore.
Oh, how dare you? I'm still sparky enough to do lots.
Well then, how about you use that perkiness and get yourself a boyfriend,
Okay, alright, you mustn't tease your own mother as such, young man.
It was just me and my mother, but the smiles knew no bounds. And I was very happy. I wanted her to retire well, so I never slacked off on my studies. As a result, I got a scholarship that didn't require repayments and went to a prestigious university. That allowed me to work at this good company. Finally, I gave Mom the life of relaxation she deserves. And then, something happened. As soon as my first pay rolls in, we're going to go out. Anywhere you like. Anywhere in mind?
Let's see.
Mom?
I'm sorry, honey. I don't feel well. Have I not been sleeping well? Oh.
Mom? Mom! She was taken to the hospital, but it was too late. Mom's body was at its limit. I lost my heart and I was at the precipice of complete despair. But my work never waited for me to improve. But in retrospect, maybe being so busy was a good thing? Perhaps it was. I vowed that if I ever had a family one day, I'd never let them suffer like Mom did. I could do my job well, and my effort culminated to being a prime candidate in the company, as a sort of reward. And I was in a relationship with a certain girl. We even got married eventually. This is my wife, Camilla. When I proposed to her, I promised I would never let her go through harsh times. I'm sorry, dear. Work got me home late again.
You're right in the midst of heading for success. It's only natural you're so busy.
Thank you for everything. I'll become more and more successful, and I'll give you and our children the best life possible. Please be a bit more patient.
Aren't you getting ahead of yourself? I'm not even pregnant yet.
Well, I guess that's true. I mean, I'm doing my best with this as my motivation.
Well then, I'll wait and hope for you.
Leave it to me. Camilla never showed any negativity to me, being so busy, and she always supported me in my work. To answer to her expectations, I started to work more wholeheartedly, but one day, my colleagues told me to pay some heed to my wife, and I could go home much earlier than planned. I wanted to surprise her and would be waiting at her house, so I bought some cake and some slightly expensive wine from an underground mall before heading home. I hope she'll be happy. I'm home! Camilla! I opened quite forcefully, but my wife was nowhere to be found. That's funny. Camilla? Camilla! When I got to the bedroom, lots of her clothes were all in a chaotic pile on the bed. Did she put on a fashion show or something? I thought that maybe I'd missed a message from her, so I checked my phone. No new messages. Where did you go? As I was hesitating whether I should ask her via text, a rather extravagantly dressed Camilla came home. She didn't know that I'd come home already, and she was really surprised.
Oh, honey.
Welcome home, I guess. Did you go somewhere?
Oh, some old friends from high school asked me for drinks in a few days, and I thought I shouldn't go as I normally would, so I went out to get some makeup.
That passionately?
I thought I would experiment using the new makeup with this dress.
I see.
How about dinner? I'll be quick, okay?
I was suspicious of her behavior, but I convinced myself she was the only exception. Because I'm doing my best for her sake and she's supporting me all the way. I quickly killed the faint glow of doubt, and that night my wife and I ate together at the table. But 3 days later, an incident would leave me crestfallen and broken. I thought that maybe I'd missed a message from her, so I checked my phone. That day, she'd gone on that drinking date with her old friends. So I was drinking at home and eating some side dishes. When my wife sent me a message.
Take a peek at my darling that I told you about. He's so handsome.
I was completely convinced that it was a notice that she was on her way home, and opened the app. But, clear from the words, she was quite drunk. She probably thought that whom she was sending the message to was one of her friends. But I was a bit happy, because it confirmed that my wife loves me so much. If she really was cheating, she wouldn't be melting about love that much, right? I was stupid to have doubted her. I wonder what kind of photo she'd send. It would be a waste to tell her who she was talking to, so I patiently waited for the photo. But what she did send, the guy looked nothing like me. Who the hell is this? Without even thinking about it, I took on the role of a friend of hers and replied, "Your darling, don't you mean your husband?"
Aw, you're so cute. He's so busy, we're pretty much strangers at this point. After a month, so simple and boring.
Is that so?
I want to hurry up with the divorce, but I guess it's all in the timing.
Timing?
I want to make it look like my husband's so busy and I grew distant.
But isn't that because he's doing his best for you?
Didn't ask. I found someone who's so elite. My husband is mere dog shit next to him. I have no use for him anymore.
It's true, these days my wife and I never did anything good at night. But that was mostly because she'd refuse whenever I'd ask. The guy with whom I thought she's cheating with was a dandy, sexy type, and his clothes and accessories were all pretty extravagant, and I immediately knew he was rich as rich can be. My wife cheating with a noticeably older man, the food in front of me suddenly went tasteless. That night, a drunken Camilla came home, not knowing she'd let the cat out of the bag. To be frank, as my love for her was waning fast, I deleted the chat history on her phone to bury the proof under the radar, and left the proof on mine. She never noticed anything the following day either. One would have definitely noticed if you opened the chat, but what with her being a can short of a six-pack, she didn't remember anything at all. I decided to divorce her. I thought the proof on my phone wasn't sufficient, so for more substantial proof, I hired a detective agency. The target day was when my wife would go out drinking. Sure enough, the moment where everything fit together was wonderfully captured. According to the agency, the guy was CEO of Comics Enterprise, a rather famous company. He was also married and even had a 10-year-old daughter. I couldn't mask my complete surprise. Cheating on me with this sevenfold scumbag makes her as bad as him. My grounds for divorce became all the more solid. With undeniable proof in my hands, I quickly shoved it all onto my wife. Mind explaining to me what the hell this is? Her expression froze for an instant. I thought she was going to break down in apology thereafter, but that was too optimistic of me. The once kind, loving gaze of my wife became cold and arrogant.
Seeing is believing, right?
What's with that attitude? What you're doing is among the stupidest things any human could do. Do you understand?
The hell are you talking about? You only bring in 60 grand a year with all the work that you do? You're useless.
I'm doing my darndest for a bright future, right? Plus, that's a lot for someone of my generation.
That is frickin' enough. I wanted children, but I couldn't conceive any with you, you useless prick.
The hell? Let me remind you that you always refused whenever I tried to conceive.
This body of mine won't conceive any child of the likes of you.
This catchball session of profanity lasted a while, but she never apologized and insisted that everything was my fault. No settlement possible in this ridiculous situation. I'm gonna get your darling to talk, mark my words.
Oh, by all means, do what you like.
I got the contact info of the guy through my lawyer. We arranged a meeting with him and his wife. His wife was a beautiful woman, and you couldn't believe she had a 10-year-old daughter. Perhaps as soon as I was within her line of sight, she hung her head deep.
I'm so sorry that my husband has caused you so much trouble.
Oh, please, it isn't your fault, dear lady. But meanwhile, the other two were pretty physical, as though they wanted to rub it in our faces. I couldn't believe what I saw. We want to make out now, so can you make this quick?
For real, it's the victims for not being appealing enough to your spouse. It's nothing to do with us. Finish up quickly, all right?
At that instant, something inside me just snapped. I slammed the paperwork down on the table.
What's this bullshit?
The form of compensation I'm demanding from both of you. Yeah? And why do we have to pay you anything?
It's your fault you got cheated on.
If you think such arguments are gonna work, how about we settle this in court? No matter how good your lawyer is, you won't win.
I will also file for divorce. You will never see your daughter again, and I will resign from your company.
Here! Out with you! The uninteresting hag! I'll replace you with this young darling of mine.
I don't believe she can do accounting work. Can your granny ass not judge me? The new lady in town, please? Calculating money and shit is a piece of cake. Is that so? In that case, then...
It became so useless to even speak with them. So, as a parting shot, everything will be done through our lawyers, we said, and left. When we exited the shop, Miss Veronica called to me.
I've really done you so much harm. I'm truly sorry.
Oh no, I'm very sorry too. My wife caused you so much harm too. It's probably not my place to say, but it's such for a woman of your standards to be with someone like him.
Oh my, I would have loved for someone like you to be my husband.
If such a faithful woman like you became my wife, this never would have even happened. We said our goodbyes and I thought my time with her would be regrettable in retrospect. Since then, she and I have been in communication over the demands for compensation. Also, thanks to our lawyers, we were able to receive $20,000 from both Slimebags, and that was great. But they were annoyed at this decision of ours and they started to harass us.
This is about us, isn't it?
No question about it. Such animals. Out of spite, they started to post slander about me and Miss Veronica on social media. Some of them even had sexual activity with our faces photoshopped, and we were subject to hellfire. The posts were always done by anonymous accounts, and they were deleted as soon as the posts were. We couldn't provide any substantial proof, but it was completely certain that they were the culprits. Our lawyers told us that suing high anonymity social media accounts is very difficult. But we didn't give up there. With the money we got from compensation, we hired people to gather information and proof. If we gave up here, it would seem that those two who have ridiculed us mercilessly had won. But acquiring solid proof took close to a year. But eventually, a change was seen in our opponent's behavior. The scandalous social media posts that came up every single day suddenly stopped. Did something happen? Around then, Camilla contacted me.
I'm so sorry, I was so stupid. It was a mistake to leave you in the beginning.
If you have something to say it via your lawyer.
Please, let's start over. Yes?
How dare you say such nonsense after everything you've done?
I can't take it anymore. It's too much. Work every day.
You boasted you could do it,
I thought it would be easy. When I did try, the accounts are gigantic. And other jobs like schedule management and human resources that Miss Veronica did all became mine.
Who would expect a witch that chooses men for their money could do their job overnight?
It's not my fault that woman is inhuman.
Hey! Don't talk about my wife!
Huh? Your wife? The hell you mean?
What do you think? If we both overcame the torture you brought upon us, well then it's only natural. Unlike you, she's faithful, independent, and such a wonderful woman. In a way, I have to thank you both for allowing me the chance to meet her.
But she's older than you. She had a daughter, right? 10 years old.
With how she is as a person in mind, that's not an issue at all. And she's pregnant with my child, too.
You even conceived?
By the way, you did say you wanted children. Have you any yet? The sex drive on that guy of yours was something after all. Maybe you already had one.
That bastard! He's sterile!
Eh? Like hell he is, he has his own daughter.
His negligence of his health and aging has made him sterile, I tell you. You can't conceive under those circumstances. I pressured him to fix things, but he said he doesn't want kids and takes off. He definitely has another woman.
What goes around comes around. For real. I'm speechless.
Hey, help me, please. Ditch that old hag and start over again with me, okay?
You make me gag so bad. Sorry, but relay everything to your lawyer.
Wait a minute.
Later on, I firmly ignored Camilla's calls. But rather, I also knew what was going on with the guy's company. Camilla being so incompetent and all, he started to ask his old wife back into the company. So, that company was working smoothly all because of you, huh?
If I had known this would happen, I would have boycotted years ago.
For real. Perhaps fate was frowning upon us. 2 days later, the new couple in town came storming into our house. As they were arguing, I might add.
You liar! You told me that I would live a great life if I went with you!
You can't blame me. I didn't think you were that useless at accounting, goddammit! You useless witch!
You were the one being Mr. Goody Two-Shoes and doing everything you wanted, you sterile bastard!
Hey, you guys are creating a ruckus. You're bothering the neighbors. If you're gonna fight, could you do it elsewhere?
Indeed, I don't care for this man anymore. I beg you, start over with me. I'm more interesting than Mrs. Simpleton, right?
Then, upon hearing her ex-father's voice again, his daughter strode to the front door.
What happened? Mommy? Daddy?
Oh, Jasmine! It's been so long. Daddy's home.
That scumbag, even after cheating, took on the role of the faithful father. But his daughter saw that with cold contempt.
Who is this, Grandpa?
What? I'm your daddy, honey. There's no way you forgot about me.
Going out to play with girls and never coming back, that's not my daddy. Daddy Silas is my real daddy. We're all going shopping today, so could you please step aside, sir?
The CEO slumped his shoulders at these words that couldn't have possibly come from a girl in primary school. Thank you, Jasmine. You make Daddy very happy. I'll buy you some clothes you like today, okay?
Yay!
Maybe my ex gave up seeing my behavior, but they tried to run off without saying goodbye. So I decided to apply the final blow. Ah yes, all those videos and pictures you uploaded. Morogani, we found proof that those posts were done from your computer. Be prepared for the damage demands that will come later.
What? How did you get the proof?
Be very prepared. The amount's gonna be a doozy.
Please, I beg you. If you do that, my company will go bankrupt.
Even without these demands, without this lady here, your company was doomed to despair. Give in, boy.
I didn't do anything.
Then how did photos of me only you would have appear online, I wonder?
That's...
You both have really done us such huge services, you know that? Our vengeance is long overdue. Be gone with you! They lost their fighting spirit completely and left a few shades paler, looking as dead as corpses. 6 months later, according to our lawyers, Morogani is suffering enormous debts from our demands, as well as compensation for multiple contract breaches and reimbursements to cover the company's deficits. As a result, the company was forced to diminish in size, and he had to sell off most of his personal belongings. His employee was Camilla. By the way, the CEO tried to divorce my ex-wife. But what with her not able to provide for herself, she didn't sign the contract, and she's still clinging to him for dear mercy. A man who's broke and a parasitic woman. Just imagining the situation is hell for sure. As for us, with the money we got, we reformed our house. More good news, Veronica gave birth to a son that I've always wanted. Jasmine, my stepdaughter, is tickled pink about having a brother. We are all so happy. Finally, I have the wonderful family I'd always wanted in life. It's true that Camilla and her partner have given very hard times, but a loving wife and daughter, my days are filled to the brim with hope, and I say bravo to myself. Depending on how you think, you really can't deny that those two played a role in this. They were the hot spices in the cauldron of life. In any case, I'm so grateful. I'm finally happy.
My name is Yumiko Sakai. I'm a 32-year-old housewife. This time, I'd like to talk about an incredible incident involving my husband and my rival. It all began when I was a student in university. At the time, I was 20 years old. I was part of the theater circle, which was pretty normal. For us, it was more important that we enjoy ourselves rather than be too serious. I was enjoying my campus life as a normal student but there was one person who was always bothering me.
What? You only spend that much when you buy makeup? You're amazing. You're really strict on yourself. I wouldn't be able to bear it.
This really sarcastic girl is Wakana Aoyanagi. She is the same year as me, in the same circle, but for some reason she really hates me and likes to make spiteful comments towards me. We're completely different, so I don't understand what can make her feel so defensive, but if she was only being sarcastic, I could just ignore her without any problems. However, the most unbelievable thing would happen soon after. One day, when I went to visit the guy I was dating at the time, what? I stumbled across him cheating on me, and the woman was,
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. He says he likes me better.
It was Wakana. I couldn't ignore this, and we ended up fighting. Of course, I broke up with my boyfriend by the end of the day. There was no way of making peace with Wakana, and we both graduated university without making up. I thought we'd never meet again. A few years later, when I became 27, I was working for a company called MoniRobo Trading Company. Personally, I preferred to focus on my career and didn't have any intention to get married, so I was working non-stop. I was enjoying my work life and had been pretty successful, but someone I never wanted to see again appeared before me.
This is Miss Aoyanagi. She'll be working with us from today.
Looking forward to working with you.
Wakana had come to work at my company as a contract employee. On top of that, the Fates had decided that...
Then I'll leave her training to you.
What? I was in charge of training. She had also realized that it was me, and we had both spent the first day feeling awkward.
It's good to see you again.
I never expected this reunion, LOL. Yeah, I was surprised too. Sorry, I was quite awkward today. I didn't know how to react or what to say. Don't worry about that. TBH, I felt really awkward too. I'm not surprised. We haven't spoken since then, after all.
Are you still angry?
At the time, I felt like I could never forgive you, but until I saw you today, I hadn't thought about it at all.
Right? It's all in the past, isn't it? Then we should forget all about it and get on well as workmates.
You're okay with that, right? Okay, let's do that. All right, see you tomorrow. I felt that she didn't have a right to say, let's forget about it, but it wouldn't be mature to keep dragging it along, so I decided to treat her as a normal colleague. Even though I'm in charge of training her, I'm not with her all the time, so there was no big problem. After work one day, I was waiting to meet my boyfriend. His name is Tadashi. He was in the same circle as me in university in the same year. Currently, although in a different section, he's working at the same company. In university, we didn't talk much, but when we came to the same company, we got to know one another and have been dating for a year now. If we finish at the same time, we sometimes meet after work and head home together. Today was no different. I had been waiting for Tadashi, but...
Oh, Tadashi? And Yumiko?
Ugh, Wakana?
Wakana? Why are you here?
I'm working at MoniRobo too.
No way.
Are you guys dating? It was the worst. We'd been found out by Wakana. We're both adults and going home together, so of course we can't hide that we're dating. And it's not like we're trying to, but I honestly didn't want Wakana finding out. I mean, it was because of her that I had to go through that horrible drama in university.
I was so surprised. I didn't think you'd be dating Tadashi.
Yeah, it's not like we're hiding it or anything. We just didn't find the time to say it.
Good for you. This way you can live without worrying about your future.
You're over-exaggerating.
Nope. I remembered when I saw his face, but Tadashi's dad is that guy, right?
Yeah, he's the CEO of our company.
Yeah, exactly. Ever since we were in university, all the girls were fighting over him.
You're right. I am lucky.
You should be careful.
It's likely some of the girls still haven't given up on him. Well, it's only natural. The conversation had suddenly become really meaningful. Just like she said, Tadashi was the heir to our company. In other words, his future was promised to him, and many people had high hopes for him. I already knew that he was popular, and that's part of the reason why I didn't want her to know. When he asked me to go out with him,
I won't ever betray you. I promise. Trust me.
He said that, and I did believe him. But the drama that had happened in uni all those years ago was lodged in the back of my mind. When I caught sight of Wakana and Tadashi talking in the corridor, I couldn't help but think, maybe? The next day, when I headed out for lunch, I saw them talking in the corridor again.
I was surprised. You're still as cute as you were in university.
What? That's not true. But you've become much cooler, Tadashi. And witnessed them having that sort of conversation. I wondered if I should barge in, but I felt it wouldn't be mature and would be too clingy. Instead, I turned around and walked the way I came. After that, I often saw Wakana approaching Tadashi flirtatiously. She was just a colleague, so I felt that complaining would be too heavy, but I also felt that leaving things as they were was too dangerous. I didn't know what to do. Fortunately, the situation was soon resolved without me having to do anything at all. Hey, what did you do? You're horrible. You didn't have to go that far. Huh? What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. I know that you're involved. Calm down. Start from the beginning. I'm being bullied by some of the girls in our section. Bullied? How? They keep on forcing chores onto me, like sorting data. Well, that is your job. Their attitudes are really harsh. Oh, really? You must be the one that told them to do it, just because you think you're going to lose to Dashi. So unfair. Oh, so you acknowledge that you're trying to take him? I don't care what you think, but I haven't done anything. These were her accusations, but I really hadn't done anything. Come to think of it, Wakana was really unpopular with the girls ever since university. There were loads of guys that gave her attention then, but right now, our section is mainly made up of women. The only few guys are the section chief and some other colleagues, and everyone else was female. So, of course, nobody here would be forgiving of a woman who slacks on her job just to go chat up the CEO's son. On top of that, I'm more liked rather than hated by the women in our section. It's a bit weird to say it myself, but I'm the type that's liked by my underclassmen. I haven't announced that I'm dating Tadashi, but like a public secret, everyone in the company knows that we're together. Also, some colleagues.
Don't focus too much on your work. You should respond to Tadashi's feelings.
Even try and push me to get married. That's why some of them probably can't forgive that Wakana's trying to get in the way of our relationship. Because of those reasons, Wakana had become the shared target of the entire section. In other words, it was her own fault. At university, in our circle, it was enough just to ignore and overlook things, but as an adult within a company, it wasn't that easy. Removing those who put a foot out of line is one of the harsh realities of society. And then...
You still haven't finished the documents I asked for? I can't believe it. How long are you gonna take?
She was getting pretty strict treatment from her colleagues. Hey, I'd like some help. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm busy. They were all giving her the cold shoulder, and Wakana had lost her place in the office. I felt sorry for her, but it's not like she's being bullied. We're just disciplining workers that slack off and don't do their work properly. The truth was, none of her colleagues were saying anything wrong. The female employees were giving out a dominating aura, so none of the guys could even lend her a hand. Truthfully, I could only say she deserved it. Nobody will talk to me properly. What do I even do? I think the problem is that you don't do anything. If you're gonna come to the office, you'd better work. Shut up. It's all your fault. Like I said, I haven't done anything. It's because nobody could overlook how much you were slacking. You're not a student anymore, so you've got to do things properly. I won't leave things like this. I'll get my revenge. You're getting angry at the wrong person. I won't let you be happy. Excuse me? I'm going to resign. But don't think you've won. Wakana left, leaving her promise for revenge. The next day, she skipped work. As a result, she had left her work undone, but because it was faster to get it done without her, it didn't affect our section. Leaving the company hadn't been as big of a revenge as she might have expected. I heard that Wakana had gone back to her parents' house. I remember her mentioning that it was right near our university. Anyway, I was able to cut ties with her without no extra trouble. Or so I thought. 5 years later, I had become 32 and had married Tadashi. I had changed companies, but Tadashi understood that I wanted to focus on my own career. Thanks to all the hard work I had put in until now, I had reached a really good position in my new job. What's more, I'd had a baby. The three of us were living a peaceful life as a new family when...
Yumiko! Long time no speak. How are you?
Kanako! It's good to hear from you. When did we last meet? The graduation ceremony?
Yeah, it's been almost 10 years.
I'm well. How are you?
I can answer here, but the members of the theater circle are planning on getting together.
That sounds great.
Right? We were thinking about calling all the members and hearing how everyone's been doing.
I really want to go, but work.
I won't force you, but I'd love it if you did.
Sure, I'll think about it.
Okay, try and reply within the month.
I was invited by one of my friends from university. I really did want to go, but work was really busy. And that woman is a big part of the problem. Even though it's been 5 years, I sometimes remember her. I finally found my happiness. I never want to meet her again. That's why, after deliberating, I decided not to go. My husband had also been invited, and he planned to go, but I'm sorry, I can't get out of work after all, so I won't be able to go this time. Thanks for inviting me, though.
Oh, but I really think it's best that you come.
Why?
Do you remember Wakana?
Yeah, we were working in the same company for a split second.
It seems she still hates you for it. When I met her the other day, she told me everything.
I thought so. I knew she wouldn't be able to forget about it.
Tadashi's coming to the reunion, isn't he? I hate to remind you, but Wakana... Do you get me?
Yeah, you're right. She warned me about something pretty disturbing. My prediction that she must still be holding a grudge was correct. On the day of the reunion, I ended up seeing my husband off without preparing anything, and I continued my work as normal. Then the reunion was over, and time passed without anything happening. A few months later, that woman sent me a message for the first time in a while. Good to see you! Do you know who this is? Yeah, it's been a long time. Looks a lot like my husband. He doesn't look it. He's the real thing. In other words, you slept with him after the reunion party? Yeah, that's right. But it wasn't just that day. I took this picture just a few moments ago. So you're saying that you've been having an affair since the reunion? And he says he wants to be with me. Oh, really? It's true. He's already filled out the divorce papers, so all he has to do is hand them to you. Sucks to be you. You deserve it. This is what you get for treating me like that. Wakana confessed that she had been having an affair with Tadashi ever since the reunion party. She had announced her victory ever so proudly. I trembled. It was perfect. The situation was completely in my favor, and I shook with joy. I'll take the story back a year. I was pregnant with my daughter, and I was on maternity leave. For some reason, my husband had come home at lunchtime. You're back. What happened? Are you okay? I thought he had left work early because he had gotten unwell, but...
I quit my job and I cut ties with my dad.
He had told me, like he was delivering a speech. I thought it was a joke, but unfortunately, it wasn't. He really had thrown his job out the window and had been disowned by his dad. When I asked for details,
I've always wanted to be an actor. I'm tired of lying to myself.
this was his reply. I tried to convince him, but he wouldn't listen. On top of that, I couldn't go back to work yet and had to resign as well. My husband's father was CEO of the company I was working at, too. Luckily, I had made quite a career for myself, so I easily found a job in another company. My husband, on the other hand,
I'm back! The future Academy Award winner is back, 'cause I'm an actor! You get me?
was out every evening and coming home drunk. According to him, it's to polish his acting skills. Well, there's a reason why this happened. In the beginning, he had been going to have auditions with many theater groups, but he didn't have any experience and he was already in his 30s. It was a pretty hopeless situation. As expected, he failed any and all of his auditions. Then he decided something ridiculous.
Fine. I'll make my own. I'm going to create my own theater group.
Without my permission, he had taken out a loan and used it to fund his theater group. It's made up of 10 actors and actresses, and they gather every evening, calling it practice, and go out to drinks afterwards, calling it a reflection meeting. It seems they sometimes put on plays in minor theaters, but the audience is always very empty.
Nobody understands my potential! My skill! You're all idiots!
I'd gotten sick and tired of my husband's drunk tantrums. Just when I was wondering about the best time to divorce him, the invitation to the reunion came up. I had hoped that Wakana would sleep with my husband, but it was even more than that. She had even sent me evidence of her own affair. It saved me from having to hire a PI to investigate, and I saved a lot of money. I showed my husband my conversation with Wakana and got a divorce. I shooed him out of the house, too. He only has Wakana's place to go now. And I was expecting she would be calling any day now. You deceived me! He's not the next CEO anymore! I haven't deceived you. You can say that he was the one that deceived you, though. What do you mean by compensation? Exactly what it means. You've been having an affair with my husband, so I demand payment. Why did you send it to me? Oh, didn't you know? Compensation can be demanded from both the spouse that had the affair and the lover they had with it. That's why I've demanded payment from you both. What do I have to do? You just have to pay, work with Tadashi, and make some money. I can't do that anymore. That idiot ran away with my money. It turned out that things were even more interesting than I had expected. She was silly to think that she could send all of that evidence and not be taken to court. It was laughable just how naive she is. But I was surprised that he had taken her money and run away. It was way more dramatic and interesting than the one play I had gone to see him perform. Of course, I knew that both of them would be unreliable in their payments. Wakana had had her savings stolen by Tadashi and acted as though she were the victim in the story. In the end, she got a job in a small company and did her best to get on with her small pay. I made her sign a contract promising that she would pay me my compensation bit by bit. Meanwhile, Tadashi couldn't run for very long and was soon arrested and put in jail for theft. Once he's out, I plan to send a letter with new demands for compensation. I hope that they suffer on the stage called Hell. I feel so relieved. By the way, after hearing about the situation, my father-in-law came to visit and offer his apologies. He said that he would pay child support in my husband's place. He also said,
No matter what, I'll make that idiot pay me back for the child support I give you. So don't worry about it.
And made a fist. Thank you very much. You're the only grandpa my daughter has, and I'd be happy if you would come see her sometimes. Like this, I finally found happiness with my daughter and my father-in-law, who sometimes come to see us.